Go.
What's up, everybody? It is Casey with Two Worlds Podcasts, and with me, as always, is the War Machine to my Iron Man. It's Jake. How you doing, buddy?
I am great. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I had long day. Other than that, not too bad. We also have a special guest. We might get to see Podcast Dog tonight. She is asleep though, so probably won't.
I do want to say thank you for not making me Iron Man. War
Well, I
Machine's
mean,
way cooler.
he 100% is, but at the same time, I'm like, I kind of want to be RDJ. So
Okay, fair enough. Except you're more handsome.
yeah, thanks, man.
All
You
right.
do look a lot like Don Cheadle,
Thanks. I've been told that 0 times.
though.
All right. Let's do some news. You've got a couple more than me, so I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, my most of my news is mostly like not a lot of substance to it. It's just kind of like what I'm gonna say, and then like not much discussion is gonna come from it. But this is like one of the cool things. Ben Templesmith, a artist that we both really like, is doing an Instagram exclusive book. It's gonna be an every week thing. He releases 4 pages of it. It's something that you're gonna really like. Have you looked into it at all?
No.
Okay. Well, it's basically a medieval type book where, like I said, only 8 issues have come out so far. So it's just like these ruffians come into a bar demanding money, so that they don't kill and rape and pillage everybody. And then there's one guy that's in there that's like not from around these parts, who's just trying to enjoy a drink, and that's how it ends. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty neat, and it's Ben Templesmith's art, so that's fantastic, and it's 100% in Jake's alley. So at the very least, if you're like, I don't sound like, I don't think I'll like this, but Jake's going to.
Maybe he's making it just for me.
Maybe it's like this is the Jake special.
I mean, his last one was he did that Viking book that he sold at C2E2, which was awesome. So
Yeah, because I knew you did the Kickstarter on that. I didn't know if it ever came in or not, because I remember you've made it sound like he was a little worried when you asked him about it.
yeah, it didn't come in through Kickstarter. I had to get it from him at the show, but at least I ended up getting it.
Yeah, that's true. That man, that's too bad though. It never came in.
Yeah, well, that's the gamble you take with some of those, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's for sure. Another little tidbit: Zack Snyder stated that um, Wayne T. Carter was gonna play John Stewart, or he did play John Stewart in the original stuff, but like WB wouldn't let John Stewart be in the movie. But he had this guy all picked out. It was someone that Ray Fisher knew because they were both stage actors, and so Ray kind of introduced him as like, this is the guy, and Zach was like, yeah, this is the guy. And then they picked, but then WB was like, you can't, you can do about anything, but you can't use John Stewart, which it's like, in all honesty, it's for the best that they didn't use John, because then you have that same problem of like two characters that are like, top tier powerful guys not helping against Steppenwolf.
Right.
So I mean, it makes sense that, I mean, it still have been cool to see him, but Zach kind of left it open. And when he was talking, like, he could still show up as John in the future. I guess his costume for the Snyder cut would have been all CG, and then you would have got like a proper costume. So could have been cool.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's kind of weird that we haven't seen John yet. Like we should have by now.
I mean, it's one of those things where I'm not surprised, mostly because of just how bad of a job DC has done with their movies and like trying to get things done well. So like there just hasn't been the opportunity, because they messed up with, Justice League big time, and then they messed up with the Green Lantern movie even bigger time. And then it's like, what was he going to do? Show up in Aquaman?
Right. Yeah, fair enough. We're supposed to be getting a core movie though, so who knows?
Isn't it? Isn't that the TV show, the core TV show, and then they're doing a separate thing, or was it both? I
I
don't.
mean, if I'm being honest, I'm kind of losing track at this point.
Yeah, it's about like early on DC when Marvel was kicking their butt in the movies, and they're just like, no, we're gonna do everything, and then like none of it happened.
Right. But we still have hope.
Yeah,
All right, so Chip Zdarsky's Justice League The Last Ride is no longer digital first. It's actually going to be coming out in print at the same time. So if that matters to you, rejoice.
yeah, that is exciting for me because I get so tired of pulling up Instagram and being like, when did this come out? And why are they giving me the spoilers for it? Then I find out that it's a digital only, like digital first or whatever book. I'm like,
Right.
thanks Instagram for ruining that for me. That's wonderful of you.
Yeah. The joys of social media.
Yeah, right. So for Earth Day, this was like one of those things where I read it, the initial news, and then like I didn't look into it more until this morning. And then like it made me go from like up here all the way down here. And it really, really sucks. But for Earth Day, there will be a new Avatar The Last Airbender show on YouTube.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm up to here.
Yeah,
I'm up
you
to
got your
here.
excitement. And we're going to be getting a trailer today. But it's a fan discussion series. So it's basically this.
Oh.
I mean, it's like I guess
Who
that's
wants
okay.
to listen to this?
Yeah, it's like yeah, I guess this is okay, but when you start off by saying you're going to get a new Avatar Last Airbender series and then you make it people talking about it, it's just like, yeah, you've sucked all of the excitement out of it. You should have just
Right.
said it's going to be a show where people talk about it. Then they'd be like, "Okay, I'll watch that."
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on what all that's going to entail.
I mean, it might end up being like the Talking Dead, but with Avatar: The Last Airbender, and then like
Right.
since they'll be Nickelodeon, they'll get slimed,
We can only hope.
right? It's like Chris Hardwick's like, oh, "Hey guys, I'm Chris Hardwick, and this is the only jobs I can get. Slime time!" And then they all like, "Oh no!" Like, how is this in my apartment? Because this is supposed to be a Zoom meeting. How did you get the slime in here?
Wow. All right. Let's see here. So Kari Andrews is reviving Amazing Fantasy this July. And this was the little blurb they had for it. It's Red Room Black Widow, Teenage Spider-Man, and World War II Captain America. The most iconic versions of your favorite Marvel characters from across time and space all wake up on an island of intrigue, darkness, and amazing fantasy. It's going to be a 5-issue miniseries.
I didn't like when DC did this, and I don't like it now.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I mean, it's just like I don't care about this. So I mean, I hope someone does. But yeah, you got any excitement for it, man?
Uh, I don't know. I mean, Kari Andrews is fine, but I don't know. Sometimes these like out of continuity stories end up being pretty good. I don't know. I don't know if I need to read that one per se.
Yeah. So Christian Bale shaved his head for Thor: Love and Thunder, and the article I read that's talking about this, they're like, yeah, he shaved his head. He's getting into the role. So I just want to know, is like, how method is he going? Is he going to start trying to kill gods? Like, if he sees Santa Claus at a mall, is he going to try to murder it? I don't know if Santa Claus is a god or not, but it's like he's pretty close. So how in depth is he getting? Is what I'm trying to get at.
Well, I mean, it'd be pretty cool, right?
It'd be pretty method for sure.
Which is kind of his style, right?
Yeah, I think so. Another thing, the Flash movie logo has been revealed on the director Andy Muschietta's Instagram, and it looks cool. Like it's got a little bit of sound with it too, and like this is basically their way of announcing that they've started filming. So that's, like I said, pretty cool. Not much to it other than that, though.
Right. Okay. My last thing, it's also kind of small, but the official X-Men relaunch lineup has been revealed by Marvel. So let's see, and that's the one that Jerry Dugan's gonna write with Pepe Larraz and Marte Garcia. And let's see, that team is going to be Cyclops, Marvel Girl, Sunfire, Rogue, Wolverine, X-23, not Logan. Cinch and Polaris will be the new roster, with Charles Xavier an unofficial member, whatever that means. And then the little blurb they gave on that, this new title will showcase the incredible adventures of the first X-Men team since the mutant nation of Krakoa was formed in Jonathan Hickman's revolutionary House of X and Powers of X. So there you go.
That's exciting. You think it's going to sell stupid well, like, hotcakes?
I think at least the first issue will.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I mean, a lot of people are picking up the X-Men stuff for Jonathan Hickman. So if it's Jerry Dugan, who has done a couple X books in recent memory anyway, I don't know.
I gotcha.
I guess if they're fans of him, they will. But I don't know. Some of those members, it's like if you'd have gone with a different team, it would probably sell better. But
yeah,
I mean, there's so many X-Men, you got to have a rotating team eventually, right?
For sure. Like that's my main problem with the X-Men characters, is like why I can't get into them, because it's like when I was a kid, there was like, oh yeah, these are the characters. You better like them, otherwise this is all you're getting. And then like now it's like there's a lot of mutants, okay? Wolverine's on every team, don't worry. But other than that,
except for this one,
we still get a Wolverine.
True.
So it's like don't worry, we got somebody for you. And it's like, I don't want to take all this time to figure it out, guys. Come on.
Yeah. It takes way too many like YouTube videos or podcasts to just figure out the timeline that I just can't do it.
Yeah. Okay, so Dominic Purcell, aka Heatwave in the Flash, is walking away from CW. Sounds like CW or WB like really had him upset. He like had this big long post that he dropped some C words and some other cuss words all throughout it. And yeah, he was not happy. He's told them he's like, I'm just done with it. It didn't seem like he was mad at the directors or the other actors and stuff. And he just did not seem to care too much for the execs. So it's too bad. A little bit I've seen of him, he was pretty cool as Heatwave. So it's a shame.
Yeah, I don't know what that's all about. I wonder if we'll get the full story eventually.
Probably not. It'll be another WB type thing.
Yeah.
And then the last bit of news, and this was kind of funny, the Shang-Chi poster dropped. And then right after I wrote that in, I was like on the internet for a little bit more, the trailer dropped and it looks pretty cool. I watched it while I was driving a tractor, so I didn't get the best experience watching it. But yeah, no, it looks pretty sweet. Did you watch it?
I didn't see that the trailer dropped. I saw the poster and man, I think the costume's incredible.
Yeah, the costume looks cool. And like this, just from this trailer, first reaction that I have for this trailer, it very much looks like what we've been saying this whole time. It's like, don't overthink it. Make it a dumb karate movie for today. That's all you got to do.
Sure.
If you want, put in some Marvel stuff, like toss in some Marvel buzzwords, and then you're good. And that's what it looks like they're doing. We'll see. But I'm hopeful.
Yeah. I am gonna go see it no matter what. Like this is one that I'm pretty hyped for. Do you think it's gonna do any Mandarin stuff with 10 rings, or do you think it's just gonna be different?
I think they will, because I mean, if you remember, and it doesn't really matter like if we remember things with the Marvel MCU continuity, because it's like comic book continuity. They do it however they want. Yeah. But they had that one tie-in thing with the Mandarin, like that short where it was like basically Ben Kingsley being told he was going to get killed by the real Mandarin. So like, and so they, they basically said Ben Kingsley wasn't the real Mandarin, so they could introduce the real Mandarin whenever they wanted to. So
Yeah, I mean, I think Iron Man 3 was like pretty good. I haven't seen it in a while, but it was just so different. And I like that they had to take him out of the suit and make him show why he's a smart guy that everyone knows him to be. But the Mandarin stuff was like very disappointing.
yeah,
And I know
and
it
it's
was to catch everyone off guard, but man, it just like really took me out of a movie that I was really digging while watching it.
yeah. I mean, like the only upside was it was Ben Kingsley's acting, but like at the same time, it's like he could have cast an Asian dude. Like, there's not a lot of like Asian Marvel characters, and the fact that they were just like, no, we're gonna go with Ben Kingsley. He's played an Asian guy before.
Gandhi.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I didn't even, pardon me, I didn't watch that short because I still had the sour taste in my mouth from Iron Man 3, so I never even watched that whole thing.
I think they're all on YouTube because like there was times where it was like those would only appear on the special edition, like the $30 Blu-ray versus the regular $20 Blu-ray. So like I think I watched it on YouTube because I'm like, I'm not gonna spend $10 extra just to see like that one special feature. I'm not gonna watch any other ones because I don't want to hear the director going, well, we really thought that it'd be better if in this movie that Thor waved his hammer like this instead of like this. And like, I don't get, no, come on, get out of here.
All right. Is that all of our news?
It is all our news, man.
Okay. Well, we'll take our little ad break and then we'll come back and talk some comics. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Thanks for listening to our ad. Casey, what comic books did you read this week, buddy?
Well, I read Stop it. I read Wolverine number 11, Daredevil number 29, Ginny Zero number 1, Maestro number Warren Pax number 4, Iron Fist, Heart of the Dragon number 4, Batman Urban Legends number 2, Thor 14, or as I like to call it, Thorteen, Superman number 30, and Joker number 2.
Okay. I knew I was forgetting one, and it was Superman. I didn't read that.
Oh, okay.
But I did read Wonder Woman number 771, Star Wars Bounty Hunters number 11, Batman Urban Legends number 2, Iron Fist Heart of the Dragon number 4, Wolverine number 11, Spider-Man Spider's Shadow number 1, Thor 14. That it hurt to say that. And then Joker number 2.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'll start with Superman. You didn't miss much. I wasn't super hot on it personally. So
super hot. I see what you did there.
Yeah. So Superman number 30, it's by Philip Kennedy Johnson with Scott Gouleski on the art. And I really like the art. It's like this is one of those things where I'm gonna like the main story, I don't like. The way he write like I don't have a problem with the way he writes Superman. He does a great job with Superman John. It's a lot of that cool stuff. It's just like for me personally, I don't like just don't like the story. I was kind of like I just wasn't too interested in it, you know? So that's like it's kind of so to me it's kind of funny where it's like normally I can read a Superman story and be like, yeah, I liked it, but they kind of got Superman wrong here. No, he gets Superman. He knows what he's doing with Superman. It was just the other part that I didn't like. And then the backup story is an ambush bug story by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Sean Lewis and Sammy Basir on the art. And the art in it is great. And it's got ambush bug, so that's great. And he basically does some crazy stuff. They're trying to figure out from the last issue who's messing with Superman. Just trying to gather stuff there. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I love Ambush Bug for mostly because of Brave and the Bold. Like when I'm reading this, I'm reading it in Henry Winkler's voice.
Sure.
So yeah, it was
I'm
pretty
kind of
great.
surprised that Keith Giffen isn't writing that character like he has since his
Yeah.
creation.
And one cool thing too that I will state, the next time it's Gangbuster versus Loose Cannon, and it's a different Gangbuster. But you remember we asked about Gangbuster, and it's crazy to me
Yeah.
that they're in it. So that's neat. But yeah, overall, wasn't super hot on the book, but at least like Superman's being written well. So I'm gonna be giving it a 7 out of 10. It's still something that, for the most part, people should read because it's good Superman.
Right on. All right. I'll do Spider-Man Spider Shadow, which I am very surprised you didn't get. So this was written by Chip Zdarsky and art was done by Pascal Ferry. And this book was super cool. The whole concept is, what if Peter had kept the black Spider-Man suit? And yeah, it starts with Peter having some nightmares that the suit is giving him. He's just seeing everyone that he loves die or leave him. And in this story, he's like dropped out of school. Things are going hot with Mary Jane or Black Cat. And because he's dropped out of school, Aunt May isn't talking to him at the moment either. And the only time Peter feels nice or like clear is when he's in the black suit, which isn't a good sign, right?
Right.
But anyway, he's just battling some inner demons, and I won't spoil too much for those that want to read it, but there's some pretty cool Hobgoblin fights. Hobgoblin steps over a pretty big line in this book that's going to have some ramifications. And then one cool part was Peter took the suit to the Fantastic Four because Reed wanted to study it, since that's something Reed would want to do. And he and Johnny are like, hey, maybe you should leave the suit here while we run some more tests. And of course, Peter doesn't like that idea, so he leaves there pretty quickly. And they're like, oh boy, that's not going to be good.
He goes full Smeagol, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, they're at the end, something big happens, and Peter's just like full blown hatred mode, and it kind of warps the suit a little bit to look even cooler than it does already.
Nice.
And it makes Peter cross a pretty big line too. And yeah, the next issue is going to be crazy. I thought this issue was awesome. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.
Nice, man. Yeah, I only real reason I didn't is because like I'll say like just in general, I'm like a 7, like just pretty cool on Spider-Man, where it's like, yeah, and it's like I do love Chirpy, but it's just like I don't know. It's just another book that won't matter.
Yeah, but I mean, if you enjoy it, who cares, right? Because
Yeah, fair enough,
anymore,
man.
it doesn't matter anyways. People are going to do what they want.
That's a dang old fact. And speaking of Chip Zdarsky, I read Daredevil number 29. If you can't tell from my shirt, I like Daredevil, and this is by Chip Zdarsky and Marco Cicchetto on the art. And Daredevil got poisoned in the last issue. In jail, Daredevil, not Elektra Daredevil. And so then he fights a bunch of people while Elektra is like basically the new kingpin of Hell's Kitchen is like having people not steal, but like get protection money from them. And so Elektra sees that's going on, and like, first off, I need to find this picture because like it made me laugh when it happened. She's got her size, but they're billy clubs. So like they look like size, but she throws them like Matt throws the billy clubs, and there's no point at the end. So like it just breaks the dude's nose, and it's hilarious. You gotta find this really quick. Yeah, so there you can kind of see it.
Dang, that looks brutal.
Yeah. And her costume is still the coolest. But so yeah, she like does this, and then she tells him, she's like, you're robbing, you're the strong and you're taking from the weak. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to pay me protection. you owe me $30,000 if you want to come back in Hell's Kitchen. And she took the $1,000 that they stole and she hands it back to the guy. Like, this 1,000's going to do for now, but if you ever want to come back here, you owe me 29 more. And I'm like, that's awesome. So yeah, so she's doing that stuff. And there's some stuff going on with Mike Murdock, Matt's twin brother, that kind of appeared out of magic. And yeah, a lot of stuff's going on. I'm really liking it. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. I love this book.
Alrighty. It was a very chip heavy week this week.
It's like me whenever I'm like, I'm going to start my diet right now. That's just a chip heavy week.
Moving on. Next I'll do Star Wars Bounty Hunters number 11, which has just the neatest cover. Look at that.
Ooh, I like that a lot. I had his toy as a kid before I knew he killed Wookiees.
So I picked this up because it's an all Bosk issue, and it was pretty neat. Bosk is thrown into a what was that story where they hunt people? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Most Dangerous Game?
Most Dangerous Game. It was like that. And Bosk is there with a couple other slaves, and he's like, some of you, maybe one of you will get out of here if you follow every, command I give you, but I'm getting out of here. So the whole issue is mostly just Bosk showing why he's one of the most dangerous bounty hunters in the galaxy. It's just him killing people and setting up ambushes and fighting other aliens, and it's just pretty awesome. And then at the end, we find out that it was all for, gosh, I'm going to sound like such a poser Star Wars fan. Jabba the Hutt's Twi'lek guy that stands with him and translates. I'm totally blanking on his name.
I know who you're talking about, but
anyway,
I have no idea.
Yeah. So yeah, he's like, hey, good job doing that thing. But we have another important mission. Bib Fortuna. That's what it is. It just came to me. Anyway, and then it cuts to a couple of the other bounty hunters, Dengar and guy that's got half cyborg face. I have no idea what his name is. And
half cyborg face, man.
Duh. Valance is his name.
Oh, I was close.
And Valance is like, all right, Dengar, you and me, we're gonna go capture Han Solo. And Dengar's like, are you crazy? If we get in Boba's way, he's gonna be real upset. He's like, I don't care, we're doing it anyway. And then next issue, they're gonna go after Han. So it was pretty cool. I read this for this was like a Fast and the Furious movie in comic form, right?
Nice.
It was stupid fun, and I knew exactly what I was getting into, and it was enjoyable. So 8 out of 10. I did not read the creative team. The writer was Ethan Sachs, and the art was done by Paolo Villanelli.
Nice, dude. Yeah, I'm just always cheery whenever you have a good Star Wars book. I'm not gonna lie.
Me too. It's a nice feeling.
Okay, so next up for me is I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about Ginny Zero because it got recalled.
Well, I sent it out before I heard about the recall. Whoopsie.
Yeah, no, I mean because I guess it's being re-released in May, so I don't know if I should be reviewing it. What do you say?
I say go for it.
All right.
I mean, what is the publisher listening to us right now? I don't think so.
It'd be funny if they were, and they're like, we listen to every single comic book podcast just in case. But
hey, if they want it back, just sell it on eBay real quick because it was like $25 the other day.
Oh dang. So yeah, Ginny Zero, #1 by Dave DuConge and Brockton McKinney, and art by Magnetic King. Here's the cover. The cover is extraordinary. Not gonna lie, I love this cover. And so yeah, you get this girl who's like kind of a dirtbag. I mean, just the way she's doing stuff. Like, she had some celebrity, and so she's like out at the bars, just getting drunk, doing drugs, and sleeping around, and all this other stuff. And then like she gets talked into taking up her old job, which was killing monsters. And then the way it ends, it's like, oh dang, this sets up for a fun thing. So it makes me mad that the next issue's on sale in May when the first issue's supposed to come out. So I don't think that's going to be a thing anymore. But I liked it a lot. And it's like, it's one of those things where it was kind of up in the air up until about the ending, because it's like they kind of, it's one of those things where the character is supposed to be like, I don't know how, if this person can do this, because they make them, kind of like a dirtbag, basically, or just a loser or whatever. And so, like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I would recommend it when it comes out. You should read it. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Nice. I'm glad that it was good. All right. Next, I'm going to do Wonder Woman number 771. And this was written by Michael W. Conrad and Becky Cloonan, with art done by Travis Moore. All right. This issue starts with Wonder Woman talking to Thor in a mead hall, and she's like, hey, don't you know that like Asgard is totally messed up right now and all this crazy stuff's going on and the world tree's dying and your warriors aren't coming back to Valhalla once they die in these fights every night? And Thor is just like, not really my problem. We'll fill those warriors' seats with new warriors when they die. And goes back to drinking. And so Wonder Woman leaves with her little talking squirrel friend, and they decide that they're just going to go to the world tree and figure stuff out on their own. So on the way there, they run into merc elves, which are kind of like dark elves in D&D. They live underground and only come out to attack people that are passing by their little caves. So that's a pretty neat fight scene. And Wonder Woman discovers that their weapons have similar craftsmanship to other dwarven weapons. So I was like, huh, that's a weird thing to say in one panel and not touch on anymore. So I'm sure we'll come back around to that. But anyway, Wonder Woman goes underground because she needs some weapons made by the dwarves. And she finds Dr. Psycho there, which I thought was kind of strange. And he says that he is there via astral projection, and he makes weapons to give to people in the real world, I guess. And once they start using the weapons, they fall under his like mind control, basically. But anyway, Wonder Woman just gets some info out of him and goes on her merry way. And they go down to the roots of the world tree, Yggdrasil, where Nidhogg is there. Nidhogg is this big serpent that's trapped in the roots of Yggdrasil. And she's like, hey, I need the key to the Valkyrie fortress. And they say that you have it. He's like, I do have it, but I ate it and I'm not going to give it back to you. And the squirrel's like, wait a second. I know that the thing you want most is to eat the egg of an eagle that sits on top of the world tree. And Nidhogg's like, yeah, I do. If you'll get me one of those eggs, I will exchange it for the key that you want. So then Wonder Woman climbs all the way up Yggdrasil, and the eagle's like, I already knew you were coming. I had a friend tell me, I've got 5 eggs here. I'll give you one of them because I want Nidhogg, out of the tree or whatever. And if this will help save the tree that I live on, I'm going to do it. So she takes the egg back down, and the little squirrel friend is like, you need to get inside the egg so that when he swallows it, you can break out and find the key because we don't trust Nidhogg. It's like, okay, that sounds like a good idea. So the squirrel rolls the egg down into Nidhogg's lair, and Nidhogg eats the egg. And then he says, good job, Ratatosk, which is the squirrel's name. He's like, I knew our plan with the eagle would work, and you're going to be rewarded for this. and then it says to be continued. So I really don't know what's going on here. It is very much like Norse mythology, which I
Yeah.
appreciate very much. Like if I'd have just replaced Wonder Woman with some, shield maiden, this would have been a pretty awesome Norse mythology story.
Yeah.
Um, so it's super cool. Nobody knows who to trust here in Asgard while all this is going down. So I don't know if the squirrel is being a double agent or what, but it was crazy fun. And the art is so, so good. So, I'm loving this. For me, it was a 10 out of 10. Like I just loved it. It's Norse mythology, it's Wonder Woman. It's like this was made for me. So
Nice,
love
man.
it.
So I'm gonna say one thing, and this has had me like cracking up quietly to myself while you're talking about it. The part with the eagle and getting the egg and stuff, I 100% thought of. I think it's Almost Heroes, the Chris Farley, Matthew Perry movie.
Yeah.
And like I just picture Wonder Woman like climbing it up the first time, and like as she's sitting at the camp getting hungry, and like cracks the egg. Like every time she goes up there, that she does the same face that Farley would go, oh, and then the eagle attacks her, and
Dude, I actually quoted that movie this morning because I went golfing and there was geese like getting in our ways. So I yelled, and you'll have to bleep me here, but when he goes, "Go away, you damn birds!" So it's funny that movie has come up twice in the same
yeah.
day.
How'd you do at golf? How'd you do, by the way?
Oh, terribly.
Yeah.
But the weather was amazing and I still had fun. So
you had to get in there before the snow.
Absolutely.
All right. So next is Maestro War and Pax number 4. And this is by Peter David and Javier Pena on the art. And so, yeah, there's a little bit of Doctor Doom in this. And I didn't really like the way Doctor Doom was written. He seemed a little bit like there's a few screws loose in his armor, in his helmet, if you know what I mean. And so Maestro is dealing with the Pantheon. He becomes a little bit stronger in this. I don't know anything about the Pantheon, I'm not gonna lie, but it's like I was reading about it online. It's very much a Peter David like team that he made up for. So it's like that's why he's kind of putting him back in here. And yeah, this one I didn't really like near as much as some of these other Maestro ones. This is still better than anything Al Ewing's wrote, but it's just, I don't know. I wasn't super hot on this issue. It was just kind of, I get why they're doing it though, because it very much does show like Maestro, like that version of the Hulk taking more control over the Bruce Banner side. Because, he talks to Banner for a little bit in the head, and it's like, kind of just making him get more control, because it's like Banner or them kind of agreeing on stuff more than it was before. So in that way, it's good, but I think I just don't care about the Pantheon. That's my main problem. So yeah, for me, it's gonna be a 6 out of 10, but I'm still like invested in the universe.
Fair enough.
And then I think
the last 5 we read. So
nice,
which is exciting.
Yeah, you want to come up with the order that we're gonna do it in now?
Sure, let's do Wolverine, Iron Fist, Urban Legends, Thor, Joker.
Dude, that's hilarious. That's actually how I had it stacked.
Oh, we are just so in sync.
I know. Tell me why. Was that In Sync or was that Backstreet Boys?
Gosh, I don't know. Oh, that was In Sync. That was Bye Bye Bye.
All right. But no, I like that this is one of the first times that we have more Marvel than DC that we're reading together.
It might be the only time, Case. Who knows?
So, okay, Wolverine, and this is by I'm gonna find the creative team because they put it in weird spots. Okay.
It's Ben Percy and Scott Eaton.
Okay, yeah. What you said. What was your initial thoughts though?
Here's the thing. You've been telling me to pick this up for a while. And I was always like, I'll get to it because I know I'll like it. I'll get to it. But then I see the cover of this one, Casey, and it's got Wolverine, Dracula, and Omega Red on it. And I'm like, this is the one. I thought it was awesome.
I did too. I'll be honest, I was a little disappointed because it's like, I don't know, I think it's mostly because it's the start of a new arc. But that last arc, it was like where like this one's like, oh yeah, Wolverine fighting vampires, which is awesome. It's like if Wolverine's fighting vampires, I want Blade there for one. And two, like the last one was like him doing secret agent stuff, which is like a completely different type of thing. And so it's like I just kind of wish it was like that's what I was like already getting into. So like now this is like a completely like different shift, but I still like it. But I'm like, man, Blade needs to be here.
Right. I feel that. It did feel like they were setting some stuff up. So I get that and somebody else had mentioned that they thought the pacing was slow, but I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm really curious what all is going to happen with Omega Red.
Yeah.
But I didn't even realize that this whole like vampire nation stuff was going on. Like
No, I
they're
didn't.
like
I
their
didn't.
whole community over here.
Yeah, I didn't know until like they briefly said it in King in Black, and then I was like, oh, this is a thing, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with it because I read Curse of the Mutants in like 2010. I was collecting those when I was going to Carbondale and was loving them. So this is kind of like a nostalgic thing for me. But it was cool. Dracula, seems like he's pulling a lot of strings here. I don't know what all he's doing. And then they're really hinting at Wolverine shagging up with this vampire hunter lady who I've never heard of before, but she looks cool.
Yeah, I've never heard of her before, but there's a lot of stuff from like random Wolverine comics that I don't know about. So there's a good chance that she's been around for a while and we just didn't know about her. But there was one line from Wolverine in here that I need to find because I loved it. I thought it was kind of perfect. Oh, you said it, you're like, because they're talking about he's like questioning basically everything X Force is doing. And so, you know, Beast is like, why are you always questioning me? And he goes, you said it yourself. X Force is the equivalent of the mutant CIA. If nobody's questioning you, you might think you don't have to answer to nobody. I'm like, that's pretty perfect because, the CIA knows they don't have to answer to nobody. So that doesn't always work out.
Yeah. It was cool. And I'm glad that you brought up Beast because I like Beast a lot. It's always cool to see him pop up and
Yeah,
stuff.
for sure. It's weird having him be the head of the mutant CIA though.
Yeah.
Because he was like adamantly against the X-Force when it first popped up, wasn't he?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna depend on the writer. Like they're not gonna keep the same continuity after all these years.
And it's also different now since they are their own. Like it's not like the school anymore. It's their own island, their own nation basically. So like it makes sense why he wouldn't be as against it. And like also when a lot of times when people are against something that they're not in charge of,
right?
So like there's plenty of reasons, especially someone like Beast who's really smart. He could easily be like, oh, I'm really against it because I don't get a say.
Yeah, fair enough. I did really like the whole thing where they need Wolverine's blood to like make Daywalker vampires. Like I think that's pretty cool because normally it's like why Wolverine? But they throw that in and it's like, oh, okay, well at least that can make sense.
Yeah, no, that was a really neat idea. But there's like, I mean, I'm just gonna say this. I'm not saying I want him in this book, but they could easily just toss Deadpool in or Sabretooth, It's like, heck, if they had Sabretooth, no one would miss him.
Yeah, that's for sure. Hopefully Blade does show up though. Because like you said, if you want anybody in a book like this, it's definitely Blade. Especially because he was at the end of King in Black. So
yeah, and then it's also like you remember that book that came out like I think a year ago. It was Blade and Wolverine. That was just the name of the book. That's all they had to call it, and it was awesome.
Yep. Well, I guess we'll find out, huh? If this is just the start of the arc.
Yeah. Final rating?
Oh, probably like I don't know. I can't find anything that I dislike, so I guess like a 9.
All right. I'm gonna go 8 because like I wanted something a little bit different. and they didn't give it to me. But no, like all in all, I liked it. It was just like it's just the start of an arc, so it is what it is. So I can't wait to see Omega Red kill some vampires because it's coming, and that's gonna look super cool.
He's just one of the coolest X-villains ever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next we'll do Iron Fist, Heart of the Dragon number 4. This is written by Larry Hama and art by Dave Wachter.
Wachter, I barely even knew her.
Anyway, what were your initial thoughts on this?
I really liked it. I love the art. Just I'm really liking where the story is going. I like how this team's kind of building up, and that ending was wild. And this character that's at the beginning, I don't recognize her at all. And I've read a good bit of Iron Fist, so I don't know who she is.
I'll tell you, Casey, because I had to research her today, also not knowing who she was. She was like a big part of Kari Andrews' Iron Fist in like 2012, the one that neither of us could get into.
Yeah.
That's what she's from.
I gotcha.
Her parents, or at least her dad, or one of her parents was in the same plane crash as Danny's parents. And then her mom died, and she just like spent her whole life to get revenge on Danny for some reason. Like I was reading a really not great bio about her.
Yeah.
And then she ended up falling in love with him for a little bit, and then decided to really get back at him. She'd make him fall in love with her, and then she'd kill herself. Clearly that didn't happen, because here she is. But yeah, that's who Brenda Swanson is. Anyway, I'm real curious how do you pronounce her name? Okoye?
Yeah, it's
Okoye.
Yeah, I just go with your heart. And
okay. Well, if anyone knows how, feel free to let me know. But spoiler alert, she kills 2 dragons in this, and I'm sure there's going to be some reason, like the dragon that's in the heart of heaven wanted her to, or something, to fulfill some prophecy. But
yeah,
but man, it as much as I sure didn't like the design of Spider Dragon, it was still kind of sad to see it die, because it was like following the group because they were like, we'll protect you, and then
yeah,
Okoye is just like, nah, I'm gonna kill this one too.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, like, when I was reading that, like, that's got to be nightmare fuel for you. It's like what's worse than a spider? Oh, I don't know, a giant dragon spider, or maybe the dragon part of it makes you like it more. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it made it look like really cool, though, I'll say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was still a really cool issue. I do like all the team members. It's cool to see them all have their like one panel of fame, during the big fight scene. But this has been pretty awesome.
It really has. The only downside of this whole series, and it's not really a downside, because it's like these are all characters in Iron Fist, so like having them be a part of it works. But it's like you could easily just call this like Iron Fist and Friends, like, because it doesn't feel just like an Iron Fist only book, which I'm fine with, because he works better with the group of guys and group of people. But it's like we need Misty in there.
I know this really doesn't feel like an Iron Fist book. They're just, all these events are taking place in Iron Fist type places. So
yeah,
like, based on this issue and seeing the cover for the next issue, it's an Okoye series, because Iron Fist isn't really the focus here.
Yeah, and I'm, like I said, I'm kind of fine with that right now. I think at the end of the day, he's going to be the one that gets this, the saving blow, and that's all that really matters. And especially with Iron Fist books anymore, like, he's got all these like really cool characters around him, and he's kind of just he's what brings you in, so you can see Bride of Nine Spiders and Fat Cobra, because you're not going to be buying their book by themselves.
Well, we are.
Oh, yeah. I think you did, actually.
Yep, I did. All right, final score?
I'd give it a 9 out of 10. I really liked it.
Okay. It's probably like a 7 for me. As
Okay.
much as I did enjoy it, like I said, it doesn't it I just wish they'd call it something different because it's really not an Iron Fist book at this point.
Yeah, I just don't think they couldn't sell it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I
So
get it. I totally get it. And overall, I'm still loving the series. I just want to
yeah.
see how it plays out.
So next up is Batman Urban Legend. What'd you think of this?
So I loved the Oracle story the most, but I did really like the Red Hood story too. Um, Outsiders was fine, and I just kind of skimmed Grifter because as much as I think he's neat, I just can't really get into any of these backups featuring Grifter too much.
Really? So that's kind of funny. Like Oracle is probably my least favorite, mostly due to the art. So like really
You
quick,
are insane
we'll really
saying
quick
that.
we'll go through Red Hood and Batman and Cheer, and this is by Zdarsky with Eddie Barrows and Eber Ferreira and Julio Ferreira on the art. Oracle in Ghost in the Machine by Cecil Castellucci. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. And Margaret Savage on art and colors. The Outsiders and The Caretaker, part 2 of 3 by Brandon Thomas and Max Dunbar. And then Grifter in The Long Con with Matthew Rosenberg and Ryan Benjamin. And so, yeah, well, we'll just start with Oracle since I'm insane. No, I mostly it's the colors. Like the pencils themselves are fine. It's just I don't like the colors. And then also I have a feeling if we showed this to someone with any computer knowledge, not us, but any like actual computer knowledge, they'd be like, this is all nonsense. Like this doesn't make any sense at all. And maybe it does. Maybe they knew what they were talking about, but like she just makes a suit with her sewing machine that can hack into stuff or whatever. But
Dude, it's comic books. It's Batman. Like, come on. Also, how can you not like that? That is a stunning page, dude. Look at her face and her hair.
doesn't do much for me.
Well, whatever.
Like I think, like
This
I
is
said,
awesome.
I think the main art it's fine, but the colors just throw me. That's my main problem with it.
I think the
But
story is fun too. Like she's fighting this person who is, cleverly named Virus, Vivian Ross, Viros. But yeah, just watching her like outsmart this lady while using Stephanie, Cassandra, and Dick to, check up on stuff. It's just like that's what Oracle would do. And, those three would be happy to help out. So yeah, I don't know. I really liked it. It was fun. I think the art was amazing. That was a big thing for me. And I hope that this continues to be a thing because I really, really enjoyed it.
one thing that I will say that I really like about it is like I will like this part right here, just as far as like it's cool that they can have story like basically Oracle battling her, but just through computers. Like
Yeah.
that's a really neat idea. It's just this story, like I said, didn't do much for me. What would you get rated out of 10? We'll just do
Oh,
each at a time and then we'll do the main book as a whole.
9.
Yeah. See, like I'd give this a 6. I think it was fine. But we'll hop on over to the Red Hood and Batman story. And yeah, so this has kind of got some angst and edge from Jason in it. And he does some, like the coolest part, in my opinion, in this one, it's the part when they're like, oh, like the crooks are all in the van together, and then Batman shows up, and it's like, this part when he's like at the alley and then walking down, like the lights all starts turning out. Then he starts talking to them. They're like, oh, we're not afraid, and all this other stuff, and like that was such an awesome Batman moment that you don't like. That's something that would be in the movies that you don't get in the comics anymore because like they're too busy dealing with like Joker for that to actually happen. It's like seeing this here, it was so cool, and I can't wait for it to happen in a movie now that someone's gonna steal this from.
Yeah, for sure. Like anytime there's a gun blast or like a flash of light, that's when you see Batman, and
Yeah.
it's awesome.
And then you get a lot of Jason talking to Barbara, and I keep thinking in my head, in the back of Jason's head, he's like, "She doesn't love me as much as she loves Grayson."
Yeah, thankfully nobody has touched on three Jokers here.
Well, yeah, because of the fact that he said that he would pretend like it never happened if she didn't see the note, and she didn't see the, or if she, didn't wasn't interested.
Dude, I'm pretending like it didn't happen either.
But yeah, I mean, this is pretty interesting. There's just a lot of angst and a lot of edge. Like, you better be careful when you're reading this because you might cut yourself on this edge.
Yeah.
But I'd probably give this one. I'm gonna be a little critical of it. I'm probably gonna give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it too, because Jason, is trying to take care of this kid, and we all know that's not how this is gonna go down.
Mm-hmm.
And his little moment with Batman is kind of what we've seen in Under the Red Hood and other stuff. So, like, it was a totally fine issue. It's just kind of what we already know about Batman and Red Hood at this point. It's just a
And
different situation.
the first issue is way better. Like, it's
Hmm.
like when you're setting stuff up in the first issue and then you can't meet or exceed that, it does kind of hurt.
Yep.
All right, so then next is The Outsiders and The Caretaker. And I like this one a lot. But I was also a big fan of The Outsiders. And you got Katana, her husband's soul is out of the sword because her and Jefferson have been getting a little cozy. And you get Metamorpho. Who doesn't love Metamorpho? People who are dead inside don't love Metamorpho. I love Metamorpho. So, yeah, seeing him and have him kind of give Jefferson some crap about him and Katana, that was pretty great. So I really enjoyed this. And I mean, for me, it's probably an 8.
Yeah. I'm gonna go 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was nothing to really like blow me away or hate on. Lots of katana, which is always cool. And the art was really, really good.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I didn't mention. It was good. And then yeah, lastly with the Grifter, I actually loved the Grifter story. I thought it was really cool seeing some of the different stuff, and like, people keep ending up dying. It's like, is Grifter murdering these people? Or because he said he didn't know who the the Mrs. Freeze that ended up dead. He didn't know who she was. And so it's like, is that a lie? Is he doing this? Is what's going on there? And the way this one ends, Toyman's dead. Spoiler alert. So it's like, wonder what's going on. Wonder what's going on here. I'm all in. I like Grifter. I think he looks cool, and yeah, it's pretty neat. So yeah, for me,
I
this would be like an 8.5.
right on. I did think the art was cool, and I skimmed it. I just didn't give it like a proper read. I thought that the at that last page, the little sticky note he left on Jason's head was super funny.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know. It I skimmed it. It just didn't look as interesting to me as some of these others, but maybe I need to give it a proper read if you really liked it that much.
but I've kind of been a fan of Grifter for a long while, since like Future State. So maybe it's a little bit different.
Yeah, I mean, he was great when we got him in the Joker War stuff.
Yeah, no, like in that, it's just like he's one of those characters where I remember watching him on the was it Wildcats? Maybe, I don't know. There was a cartoon on that was the Wildstorm characters,
I
and
think
it
I
had,
think it was Wildcats.
okay, because there was like, it was him. Then you had like Maul, and then you had a bunch of other characters I don't remember the names of, but yeah, it was. So I know remember from that, but I never. He wasn't my favorite because he wasn't the big muscular guy, so I didn't like him. But I like him now.
All right. Moving on to Thor. Number 14. Thor Teen, as Casey
There we go.
called it. This was written by Donny Cates and art by Nick Klein. This was the finale of the Prey arc. Casey, how do you think it ended?
I thought it was a really, really cool ending. Like, I mean, it's still one of those things where like I'm a little salty about this story because like I don't see how it connects to Matt Fraction's run where he brought Donald back at all. But other than that, I really like this.
Yeah, it was neat to see him use the help of everybody that's here. Doctor Strange has to help out and restrain, and
The Better Ray Bill part.
oh, I know, it was awesome, so awesome, and I loved the Klein's art as well.
Yeah. Now I have a question because I'm looking at it now. I didn't understand it when I read it, and I just kind of read it last night when I was half asleep. So I was like, I'll relook at it, and I still don't quite get it. So, Better Ray Bill's got the hammer, and Odin's about to kill Donald. He's got this thing, and then Loki really quick makes the staff, tosses it to Thor. Thor slams it down, turns back into Thor from the armor, and he has his hammer now. How does Loki have that power to be able to do that?
To do which part?
To make the staff that could then transform into Mjolnir.
Oh, I guess that's not how I read that.
Maybe I'm reading it wrong, because that's just how I got it. Because it didn't make any sense that he was able to conjure that up, get it, and then smash down the staff, and he's got the hammer now, and he's turned back into Thor.
I think Thor took the hammer from Bill.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't see that Bill has it in any other panels.
Yeah.
Not that you really see Bill, but I thought that he was throwing that that staff as a because they were gonna like trap him back inside of it or something like that.
That's what I thought was gonna happen, but then that doesn't happen. So wasn't sure what was good.
Yeah, it doesn't really show where the staff is. It's not in Thor's other hand that I can see.
Yeah, well, because I mean, he used it. Maybe okay. Here. This is not probably what people want to hear, but maybe Loki made it the same way Odin made the original staff that housed Thor. So then he tossed it to the destroyer armor. And then that's why it's Thor again. Thor took the place of the destroyer armor. And then he said, "Better Ray Bill, give it to me." He took the hammer back.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, we see him toss it, and then Thor catches it, but then we see the hammer fly over there too. So we see him catch the staff and then call the hammer.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, basically Thor's like, well, you're not in charge, Odin. I am, and I didn't really ask you to be here, even though we needed him to be there for the time. But I really, really like how they wrapped this up with Donald, where Loki's like, I think I know a place where we can keep him. And it's where Loki was kept for the longest time, which is where he's chained to a big old rock, and a snake is over the top of him, dripping poison down on his head. And he's supposed to be like that forever. Clearly, Loki didn't last that long.
Yeah.
But it's still a fitting prison. So the poison will just drip into his eyes until who knows what, till they need Donald Blake again.
Yeah. But until the next person that doesn't pay attention to this series wants to bring him back.
Yeah, exactly. But Loki proclaimed him the new god of lies. So I wonder if they will do anything with that in the future. Because Loki does seem like he's trying to change, but I've seen that before, and it never lasts, so who knows? But
I have a feeling it's going to be like when Lex Luthor tried to change. It's like, yeah, until the next writer.
Yeah, well, that could be too. I mean, they've kind of been working towards this for a while. Whenever Kieran Gillen was writing him as a kid, he tried to change and stuff like that. So
yeah,
the writers don't stay long enough to make a difference. Like the last one was Jason Aaron, who wrote the character for like 8 years, but not Loki, of course. Loki was a part of it, but
yeah, I
get what I mean.
I think it helps that Tom Hiddleston plays Loki, and he actually likes playing Loki, so then like everyone loves him. So it's just like we can't keep this guy evil forever because literally we have one of the most charismatic people on the earth playing him.
Right. Well, the thing is he doesn't have to be good. He just has to be chaotic.
Yeah.
And based on the D&D scale, right? Like you can be chaotic and not be evil. So he just has to be entertaining, and he always is. Like if Loki's involved, it's not going to be a dull story. Or at least it shouldn't be.
As a D&D nerd, would you say Loki is chaotic neutral now or good?
Oh, chaotic neutral for sure. Okay. I think like Disney Plus TV show Loki will probably be chaotic good, unless they use this as him like reclaiming power, and then he's the villain for like After Love and Thunder, which would be pretty cool. But yeah, I would say chaotic neutral. Whatever he's gonna do in this show is gonna be for Loki and nobody else, no matter what anybody else who is in charge of Loki thinks is happening.
Yeah. Okay, man. Now, next is Two Jokers.
What would you rate it?
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I really liked it.
I'm also at a 9 on that one.
All right. So next up is Two Jokers, or The Joker number 2, and this is by Tynan and what's the right artist's name?
Guillaume March.
Yeah, March, and I really liked it. Yeah, I mean, it's just Commissioner Gordon kind of being a sly old man. Like Batman's trying to tell him what to do, and he's giving him his thing, what he wants. And I actually tweeted this to Tynan, and he didn't respond. So I'm going to bring it up on the pod because I think it's funny. Batman's like, "You want access to the Bat computer?" And then later on, and then Gordon says yes, and he says everything else, and then he's like, "I'm not done. I need to be able to reach you." And then Batman goes, "You want my phone number?" And he's like, "You're dang right." But I just love the fact that he calls it his Bat computer, but he won't call it his Bat phone.
Man, we look for different stuff when we read these.
Well, no, it's just funny to me because it's just like, you're a grown man calling it a Bat computer.
That's its name, right? It's essentially a living thing at this point.
I know, it's just hilarious to me that it's like, Gordon, you're a detective who has a grown man in his pajamas in your house talking about his Bat computer. Who's taking it very seriously.
So let's talk about the big bombshell that happened, though, right?
Yeah.
Jim's sitting there sipping his coffee, and he says, "Are you sure you're not just worried about your old man, Barbara?" And of course,
Batman's like, "I'm not Barbara."
You have to stop doing that. It's deafening. All right, you're gonna blow the speakers out of everyone's devices.
Sorry, but no, because Barbara or Oracle comes in and she's talking about how, he never because basically, Batman says, "I'm not gonna do the voice this time. You're welcome." But he's like, "I need you to promise me that you won't go up against him alone." And then Gordon goes, "That makes sense to me." And then later on, then Oracle jumps in and she goes, "Yes, I just want to put it on the record that this is a stupid idea and Commissioner Gordon is going to get himself killed. I also want to point out that he didn't promise you that he'd let you bring the Joker in. He just said that it made sense to do that." And then that's when he drops the bombshell. Because he's like, and like he's got the best look on his face because he knows what he's doing, and he's got that little grin on his face.
Meme, right? He's the meme of the kid with the mug.
So it's pretty great, and
it also makes sense, right? I mean, after all these years, he's a smart guy. He's a good detective, a good cop. He's gonna know that that's his kid.
Yeah, and then. Like the only downside to it, and I like that Tynan worked this in, but he had to work in because like a lot of writers now would have just been like, "No, I'm going to ignore the crappy stuff that happened in Batgirl that I didn't like." And this he actually worked in. He had Batgirl ask him like about, "Well, what'd you say? What about? Did you know when you said this?" And he's like, "I did. I was just mad." It's not it's like a cop out, but it still worked and I still liked it.
Yeah. I mean, Tynan really gets these characters.
Yeah.
I know we toot his horn often on this show, but I mean it's deserving.
I agree. What did you think of the Lady Bane?
Um, I mean, I think it drove sales for this issue.
I
I
mean,
don't
I
know
think
that she'll stick around, but we'll see.
I have a real good feeling that she's gonna be a real Bane in the neck.
Okay, sure.
And then you want to talk about the big reveal at the end of who that lady was?
Yeah, let's do it. Who does she work for, Casey?
She's working for the Court of Owls, so it's neat having them back. Because, like, honestly, other people have tried to write them since Snyder, and it didn't work, in my opinion. And I think Tynan's gonna, because like, let's be honest, Tynan is the spiritual successor to Snyder. In all honesty, and like they're good enough friends, and they work together enough that like he should 100% be able to get these characters right, get this whole thing going good. So this shouldn't be a concern, and so I'm really excited about that.
Yep, I agree. I think it's cool that the lady is like, time to finally teach the Joker to beware the Court of Owls. So it's like, okay, villain versus villain is always pretty fun. And let's be real, the Court of Owls has a lot of resources in Gotham, so should be pretty neat.
Should be, man. Okay, and the next is the Punchline story, and you're dealing with it starts off with the old is it a Queen of Spades or whatever, or like who the high ranking Royal Flush Gang lady who just got her butt kicked in the last issue and no one wanted to help her is all mad, and she's talking about calling in backup. And then it goes to like Bluebird looking at all these like basically TikTokers talk about how they used to know Punchline, and then she's meeting up with one of her old Punchline's old friends, and then it ends with Orca, who's Ace gonna she's gonna mess with Punchline. And I mean, Punchline's record so far, Orca's gonna get her butt kicked.
Should she?
No. I will say one thing that I did really appreciate, because normally in comic books you have someone lifting weights and it's like Bruce Wayne's lifting 2,000 pounds and it's nothing, like he's doing it for reps without a bench shirt on. And then this one, she's lifting real weights for a girl her size. Like she's doing like 95 pounds, and it's just like, thank you. That's what someone her size would lift. Yes.
Yeah. Finally, some comic book accuracy.
Yeah, we didn't say the artist's name on this, so we'll have to do that really quick. It's written by Sam Johns and James Tynion on the art, and Mirka Andolfo. Mirka Andolfo clearly lifts weights. They know what they're doing. So what would you rate the second Joker?
Like 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 10. I really enjoyed this book and been really, really loving it so far, even though I think the $5.99 price is gonna get it canceled. Yeah. But we'll see.
All right. Well, let's discuss what we're excited for next week.
Okay, so first off for me, I'm going to say, first off, I'm going to say, I don't think it's going to be good, but the Godzilla Monsters and Protectors. I have a feeling it's going to be bad, but I'm excited for it because this is the first Godzilla book in a while. And then I will say Ultra Mega. I really loved that the last time it came out. It was one of my favorite books. And what else did I tell you I wanted?
Ultraman?
No, not Ultraman. That's just kind of one I get because it's Ultraman. There was one that I was like, oh, this will be really cool. I can't remember it when I'm looking at the thing.
Layla Stars was on.
Yeah, that's one. That one I'm really excited about. It's by Ram V. I didn't know he was actually like. When I googled, I'm like, huh, Ram V's doing one of the creator, not really creator owned because it's through Boom, but whatever they call, like one where he has a lot more creative say on it. Heck yeah, sign me up. What about you, man?
I'm gonna say Jim Henson's Storyteller Tricksters #2. Probably, I'll say Nightwing because I really like that last issue. And then it's a toss up between Lady Baltimore Witch Queens or Kojikaru the Skinner, because both are like the Hellboy type books, and those have just been
Yeah,
a blast lately. I've been liking those, so there you go.
I'm looking forward to hearing you talk about the Koja car because I was like on the fence about getting it. I was like, I won't, but I was like, it could be cool.
I hope so. Not like none of these have let me down yet, so until one does, I'm just gonna keep picking them up.
Right on, man. That's a good way to be. Okay. So, is there any trivia that you got?
There isn't. I figured we're gonna ramble so long on these comics that I'm just gonna skip it.
Fair enough. Okay, so Fantastic Four today. I was just thinking in my head. I was thinking about the Exiles and how Blink from the Exile is like. If I ever wanted to sound like a hipster and talk about like a character that I really liked, she's like the perfect hipster character to like she's pretty obscure. You never really heard of her before. And I was just thinking, that's a really good question. Give me your 4 favorite, hipster characters that you have.
Okay. This is like tricky because being a couple of comic book nerds, none of these characters feel like that obscure because we like them and we talk about them and we read them, right?
Yeah.
But after a little bit of thought, I'm going to go with Sportsmaster because I've never heard a single other person say, "Oh, Sportsmaster, I like that character. He's cool." But he is cool. Um, then next, Dan the Dynamite. I think he has cool powers where he puts his rings together and then he can throw like exploding punches. He's a
I've
Golden Age
never heard of
character.
that guy.
Well, if you've read James Robinson's The Golden Age, he is in that.
Oh, okay.
Um, but I think that's a pretty neat concept that hasn't really gone anywhere since the Golden Age. Next is Longshot, because I wanted to do a couple Marvel characters too. I love Longshot, and he has just always been in obscurity, I feel. And then Elsa Bloodstone, because I am all about that, like Van Helsing, Monster Hunter type stuff. And she's kind of the queen of it as far as Marvel Comics goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
Yeah. See, like back before the Netflix or the Disney Plus show was announced, you had like one of your all time favorites was already like the hipster character. You had Moon Knight.
I know,
Like
but he's too mainstream
I
now.
know. Like anymore, it's just like you go, yeah, I like Moon Knight. Now you have to go, I like the sane Moon Knight. So you sound extra,
I
obscure about
know.
it.
I know. I'm always like people, like kids will come in. Well, I say kids, like high school kids will come in and look for Moon Knight. And I'm like, well, have you guys read Mark Spector Moon Knight from the 80s? It's like the best one. And they're like, yeah, okay.
They're okay, Grandpa, does he talk about Dracula in it?
I know.
But so for me, since you asked, I'd go Blink as my number one because obviously she is the just it's like, oh yeah, I don't like 616 Blink. I like the Age of Apocalypse Exiles Blink because she's not that well known. Like she does have like her own universe that she goes into, and she goes and she's like, if you took Doctor Who and X-Men and combined them, it's pretty cool. And then Machine Man, I just think he's a ton of
That's a good
fun.
one.
Just a cool character. And then I mean Starman. I mean, like I love Starman as a character, and then also just his character though is super hipstery. It's like, yeah, he deals in antiques. And he, wears a leather jacket and has this big old, staff. He looks very steampunky. He's a hipster's dream. You're gonna love him. And then I'm gonna go with the Kaiju Kid, who had like his own series for a hot second, and then they're like, let's get rid of this because only Casey's reading it. And then when I went to get it autographed by Colin Bunn, he's like, yeah, this was fun, I guess. Like he was like shocked that someone had it to get it autographed. But he could basically draw stuff and it would then come to life. It was cool.
Sure. The Scribble Knots, the comic.
There you go.
All right. I think that brings us to the end, huh?
I think so, man.
All right. Closing plugs. If you would, please like us on Facebook at facebook.com/twoworldspodcast. You can also find us on Twitter at 2_worlds_PC and on Instagram at 2worldspod. You can email us at 2worldspodcast@gmail.com. If you haven't already, please like us and give us a 5-star review wherever you're listening to this. It would be a big help. And now that we're on YouTube, go on there, give us a little like, check mark the bells thing for notifications, and subscribe, pretty please.
And then send some comments our way too. Jake has complete control over that, but I'm sure he'll talk. He'll talk back to you if you talk to us on there.
Sure.
And we'd love to stay in chat, but I got a lot of alcohol to drink, and Jake's got to take over the role of Iron Man for me. Thanks, guys.
Bye.